Happy Friday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring our videos, and their pages are linked in the description below. So let's get right into our weather headlines. It's going to be another quiet day across the lower 48. We're not expecting any severe weather today, but really the big story is that cooler weather dominating most of the middle of the country as well as into the east. We'll talk about that a bit. And then we have a new storm in the Atlantic. We have Tropical Storm Julia, so we'll take a look at her as well. But before we get into the forecast, we do have one event coming up. This is the OU versus Kansas tailgate. If you guys don't know, we tailgate at all of the OU home games. And this next one is going to be next Saturday, the 15th. The tailgate will begin at 8 a.m. and kickoff will be at 11 a.m. So come on down. We'll have free food, free beer. We'll have the games playing on a few televisions out there for you. So these are always a lot of fun. So come on by to that. And we are counting down to Halloween here at the Hale Palace. We are 24 days away from Halloween. So this year it is on a Monday. So hopefully you guys are getting ready to have some spooky fun at your workplaces or home or whatever. So here are our current conditions across the country. We do have a really strong cold front tracking its way on to the east here from the northeastern part of the country on down into the southern plains. We do have some showers along and ahead of that cold front. High pressures in control in the southeast, as well as a really strong high pressure system in control in the middle of the country as well as into the northern plains. We'll take a look at the temperatures in just a second, but it's a little bit chilly up there. So we're going to zoom on into a few places here. Just some showers across the northeast from New York into Maine, as well as into the Great Lakes region. If you look really closely, there was even some mixed precipitation up into the northern parts of Michigan. And then we have some heavier precipitation moving into parts of northern Kansas, as well as some light to moderate rain falling in the panhandle of Texas and into western Oklahoma. We can even see some showers coming on in here into the Oklahoma City region off and on as we go through today, and then getting into the weekend as well. So keep that in mind if you hear it in the Oklahoma City area. So zooming on out, I told you it was cooler, and take a look at this. We have temperatures anywhere from the 30s to 40s in the northern plains. It's only 44 right now in Minneapolis, 52 in Fort Wayne. You go south of that cold front, though, and temperatures are warming up into the 80s. It's 81 in Atlanta as well as into Dallas, and we got mid to upper 80s as we go near the Gulf Coast. So anywhere from a 30 to 40 degree temperature difference between the southern part of the U.S. and getting up into the northern U.S. So a pretty strong cold front there. In terms of dew points, very comfortable across pretty much the entire United States except for Miami, where it's a little bit sticky with a dew point at 66. And otherwise, dew points are anywhere from the upper 30s to mid 40s. So pretty comfortable, at least in terms of humidity. Now, in terms of the temperature change within the last 24 hours, anywhere from 10 to 20 plus degrees cooler compared to this time yesterday. So a pretty strong system in terms of those temperatures dropping. And then comparing those temperatures to normal, you can see we are very below average with temperatures anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees below what we should be seeing this time, of the year. Otherwise, we are seeing some above normal temperatures from the East Coast down into the Southeast, but we can expect those cooler than normal temperatures to continue to push off to the southeast as well as into the eastern part of the U.S. as we get into the next day or so. And then we have those watches and warnings to show you guys. We do have some frost advisories as well as some freeze watches and warnings. These will go through basically through tomorrow late morning. So the freeze watches are in effect here across the lower Great Lakes region down into the Ohio Valley. And then we have those freeze warnings out from basically eastern Nebraska into parts of southeastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, down into Iowa, eastward into Wisconsin. So if you guys have any plans, you may want to bring those in if you're able to, because it's going to get a little chilly out there. And then again, some frost advisories out from Nebraska down into Missouri and Illinois, and some scattered places elsewhere across the lower Great Lakes region. So, like I said at the beginning, we do not have any severe weather expected today, as well as nothing expected for tomorrow. There's just no instability, and it's cold, and those ingredients just aren't there. But I'm going to show you something as we get into the next 5 or 6 days, or maybe something that we need to watch. It's a little far out, but something to keep an eye on. So here is our featured jet stream. Again, cold air coming on down south from Canada. It's going to stay relatively warm near the Gulf Coast though, but as we get into tomorrow and into Sunday, basically it's not really going to be moving a whole lot, so that cooler weather will continue to stick around through our weekend. And then as we get into Monday, you can see another short wave starting to develop and come on down south. As we get into Monday and into Tuesday, that will start to dig a bit, and we may have to watch some areas for the potential of severe weather. So, I mean, we're still 5 days out. We don't have any specifics. It's just something that we need to keep an eye on. And so here's that instability for Tuesday. You can see nothing in the morning, but then as we get into Tuesday afternoon, you can see that instability will start to build up here. And then as we get into the evening, that'll stick around for a bit as well. So again, we're still 5 days out, but we will continue to monitor that as we get closer. And in terms of our temperatures, again, it's cold, and it's going to continue to be cold from now through the middle of the month here in the middle or the eastern part of the U.S. And then as we get into the middle of the U.S. as well as into the west, it looks like we have a chance to see normal to above normal temperatures out there. And then with our precipitation, it's going to continue to be dry in the northwest, near average here in the east, but then as we get into the southeastern part of the U.S. and even parts of the southern plains, as we get into the middle of the month, we could start to see our chances of precipitation increase a bit. So that's good news for these areas in the south, as it's been really dry here. We need that moisture to help with those drought conditions. So now moving out into the tropics, we have Tropical Storm Julia. This is the 13th storm of the season, and just cruising out now here to the west in the Caribbean. It's starting to get a little bit more organized, but as we will show here in just a second where it's going, doesn't have a whole lot of time to really develop into anything major. But taking a look at where she's going, right now Julia has wind speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. As we go through the rest of the evening and into tomorrow morning, still expected to just be a tropical storm with winds up to 65 miles per hour. But then as we get into tomorrow night, so this is at 7 p.m. local time there, it is expected to become a hurricane, and then by the time we get to Sunday morning at 6 a.m. their time, Julia will be making landfall in Nicaragua as a Category 1 hurricane. So that's what the current track is for Julia right now. Then you can see just tracking across the parts of southern Mexico here as we get into Sunday and into Monday. So no threat to the U.S. And here is our update for the names. Julia is now taken. If anything else forms in the Atlantic, again, it's still only October. We still have plenty of time for this tropical storms and hurricanes to develop. If anything does form, Carl will be next to be named. And then we have the rest of the alphabet here for the names for those Atlantic storms. So that's all that I have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, as well as our TikTok page where we've been trying to create some fun content for you guys. And then if you have any questions, concerns, if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend.